Happy Pride, everyone! Can I get a happy Pride? Thank you so much. I want to begin by thanking everyone who has come out here today. A special thank you to our state representative, Patricia Duffy, and our Senator, John Velis, two great allies to the LGBTQ+ community. I also want to acknowledge our president, our very own president, City Councilor, Todd McGee, Ward 1 City Councilor, Jenni Rivera, at-large City Councilor, Tessa Murphy-Romboletti. And if I miss anyone else, I deeply apologize. So, events like this are important because visibility matters. It matters because while many of us can feel safe to be who we are openly, symbols like this flag need to be seen as a light shining into the dark places where too many still have to live in fear. When we raise this flag today, it will be about honoring what it took to get here and how much further we need to go. We have to keep this light shining. To help us send that message today, I am proud to introduce Tora Mateo, the youth leader at House of Colors, who will give a few opening remarks.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. For starters, I'm quite honored to be here. If I had the ability to go back in time and have a conversation with my 16-year-old self, there would be so much to talk about. 16-year-old me was a lot different for who I am today. They were scared, confused, and lonely. I wasn't in a very good environment, which played a big part. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I mean, people are scary after all. I found my comfort in movies and shows. I would watch stuff nonstop. The ability to escape reality was a gift. By doing that for some time, I started to realize something. I always resonated with characters who were a part of the LGBT. I started to watch movies that are about these characters and shows as well. Such movies and shows being Call Me By Your Name. Both helped me realize a new part of me always existed. However, it never let that side of me free until I moved here. It was very difficult at first, but over time I met wonderful people, such as Kenzie, Rin, Jack, and my girlfriend. These people helped me realize who I truly was and taught me to be myself no matter what anyone says. The world is a very difficult place to live, however. That doesn't mean it's impossible. I know firsthand that it's possible to find who you are and to find a community that accepts you for who you are. There will always be obstacles in your path time and time again, whether it's a person or a society. It only matters how you go about pushing through the countless obstacles. You will find friends and a lover, but only if you try. To push forward is to break the expectations. Society wants and expects us to hide, so we will do just the opposite. This isn't about just us, but all the countless kids and teens who are terrified because they have to hide and are convinced to do just that. We must support these people and each other. We mustn't let society control how we live life. The only path left is forward.
Thank you so much for those words. Next, I would like to introduce Mayor Joshua Garcia, who will present a proclamation. Mayor Garcia.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our 11th annual observance of Pride Month. For Holyoke and for the nation, Pride Month is an interval of celebration, but also a time for sober reflection. We celebrate how far we've come, the rights we've secured, and the dignity that was long denied. And we also remember, with aching hearts, what it took to get where we are today. The Stonewall riots, Harvey Milk's martyrdom, and the massacre at the Pulse nightclub, and the list goes on. We honor the courage of those who lived their truth and made this day and this month a reality. Pride Month is about social justice and cultural progress. It's also about vigilance, because the rights so painfully won continue to encounter resistance in states whose laws shield only certain groups from discrimination. And let us always remember that Pride Month is about love, the freedom to love who you love and to be loved in return. To all of you who gathered here today, to all who celebrate Pride Month, I take pride in saying from the bottom of my heart that I love you. And so I'm going to read this proclamation to acknowledge this month, and here it reads, whereas equality of opportunity and freedom from discrimination are among the basic, inalienable moral rights of every person, necessary for the development and exercise of our most vital capacities and preconditions of human flourishing. And whereas our nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles that includes that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be in accordance the full recognition and protection of the law. And whereas over the course of our nation's history, the sphere of its moral recognitions has expanded to include many persons previously marginalized, disenfranchised, and subjugated, yet this recognition remains imperfect and this expansion incomplete. And whereas Holyoke is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, and racial, and gender, and sexual identities of its residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of our city. And whereas 10 years ago, Holyoke held its first lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender celebration, and each year after, during the month of June, encourages residents to honor the history of the fight for equality, celebrate the distance come, and recognize how far there is yet to go. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Joshua A. Garcia, Mayor, do hereby proclaim and designate June 2022 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Pride Month, and encourage all citizens to stand against all forms of oppression and racial injustice that has given rise to renewed calls for real systemic change in our country today. In witness whereof I've hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Holyoke to be affixed. Thank you, everybody. Councilor Anderson-Burgos. Do I give this to you? Yes. Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm trying not to get emotional. Oh, un segundo. I'm trying not to get emotional because I just got back from Florida, and Mayor Garcia brought up the Pulse Club, and that was so hard for me to be there, and I didn't want to do it because my friend KJ, she didn't lose her life. They took it from her. They took her life from us. So I cannot thank you enough, Mayor Garcia, for those words, and everyone who's spoken today, and everyone who's here. Because this is progress. this is where we need to be, not just here, but around the world. Everywhere, in every corner, where there's dark, let there be light. So thank you so much. It would be an honor. We haven't chosen who to raise this flag yet, but I want to call up two good friends. It's already up? Oh no. Well, I wanted to call up Senator Velis and Representative Duffy. Thank you so much. So, in closing, now I would like to introduce, I'm jumping the gun here because we have a budget meeting. So now I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Chloe Soto, artist, organizer, and curator of local events. Let the shine happen. You're a blessing.
Thank you for that amazing introduction. How's everybody doing today? Happy Pride. I had doubts about speaking here today because the history between trans people and the LGBT community has been shaded with transphobia. We celebrate our pride in our community, often using this time to remember trans activist Sylvia Rivera and her bravery in throwing that first brick that became the turning point in the fight for LGBTQ rights. You'll notice I didn't use the QIA+, and that's because at the time, the powers that be couldn't see the full spectrum and beauty of our community. I needed to be here, though, because I recognize that somewhere along my journey, I've gained a form of privilege that's only visible to you within my LGBT community and is lost and invisible to the cis community. Because in cis spaces, it doesn't matter how many degrees I have, how well read I am, or how eloquent I speak. What they see first is my transness. And yet, here I stand before you, honored to be able to speak to you today. I'm an educated trans Afro-Latina woman standing fully and completely in my truth, whether they like it or not. And I refuse to dull my shine for anybody, so have a seat. I hope that when you see me here, you see possibility, hope, and strength, that at any point in your life, even a 45-year-old trans woman can go back to college and go get a bachelor's degree. It's been 45 years since the Stonewall riots that ushered in the modern day of the gay rights movement in the United States, all started by trans women, by the way. There will be many pride celebrations throughout the country, and they will more than likely feature some trans celebrities to symbolize inclusion. During the past few decades, people who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual have won many battles, and yet trans people are and have been under consistent attack. Bill after bill is being introduced, not only to politicize the trans body, but to also limit our freedoms. There have been more than 300 anti-LGBTQIA bills introduced in 2022. 140 of them would deny life-affirming care to trans youth, while also imposing the limits on what bathrooms they can use. Did you know that there have been more US senators arrested for sexual misconducts in bathrooms, and 0 reported cases of trans women or trans men in that same arena? And yet, we're still discussing bathroom bills. I face transphobia in my everyday life. It has been the most hurtful when it came from my own LGBT community. And I say this not to further divide, but to name it, so that we know that trans exclusion has happened within the movement. And to find a place of healing, it is crucial that trans people don't get left behind. We live in a time when America is being fooled into believing that the LGBT community is the problem. Not a government that continues to spend more on war than in solutions to elevate its people. Not a broken healthcare system. Not the children dying in our schools. Not the white supremacists hunting people of color in a supermarket. There's so many to touch on, right? Yet it seems that it continues to be the biggest issue in this country, who it is we decide to love, and what a woman can and cannot do with her body. I'm tired of reading the headline, "It is the deadliest year for trans women of color." According to Forbes magazine, 375 trans women were killed in 2021, and this number will continue to grow. Trans people make up about 0.7%, and I want to repeat that, 0.7%. We're not even the 1%. And yet our issues and our people seem to be the problem. If this number seems small to you, I'm going to remind you again about 0.7%, because that's a lot to us, right? The smallest marginalized group. The loss of my sisters has been devastating to me, and it continues to happen, and mostly to trans women of color. So I leave you with this. Let's not allow ourselves to go down without a fight. There's still a long way to go, and we can get there together. United, right? All voices together. Thank you, everyone.
And that's how it's done. Thank you so much, Chloe. I love you. So finally, our very own City Councilor at Large, José Maldonado-Velez, to give his closing remarks. My partner in crime.
Happy Pride, everyone. I'm like usually soft-spoken, so let's try this. I just want to start off with saying thank you to all the speakers today, to Councilor Anderson-Burgos, to Mayor Josh Garcia, our youth leader, Mateo, and Chloe Soto. Yes, so thank you, thank you, thank you. What's really important for us is that we continue sharing our stories. There's too many people trying to quiet us down, and moments like this where we get to share our stories and keep, saying who we are and not being afraid to name it is what's important. So I just want to say thank you to all those speakers today. I also want to say thank you to all the organizers, those that have come in the past, those that are currently here. This is all volunteer work. So we're all members of the LGBTQ community, allies, all invested in making sure that we have these Pride celebrations in our city, because it's important for us to keep celebrating. So there's a quick rundown of stuff that's coming up. We have the youth prom happening next Friday, June 10th from 5 to 8 at El Mercado. That's for all youth only. If you want to volunteer, you can speak to Jack and Rin. Their hands are raised right there if you are interested in being part of that. June 17th, we have a potluck dinner from 6 to 9 at the Gilded Brick. I don't know if Ford is still here, but you can check in with him or me. June 18th, Pride Fest happening at Veterans Park from 12 to 6. So that's going to be the biggest celebration. We have performers, artists, vendors, everything. It's going to be a really good time here in Holyoke. And then finally, June 26th on Sunday, we're going to have the after party at the Unicorn Inn just to finish off Pride season. What I want to finish off with is a quote by Mother Marsha P. Johnson, which says, "History isn't something you look back at and say it was inevitable. It happens because people make decisions that are sometimes very impulsive and of the moment, but those moments are cumulative realities. These moments where we go to different events, where we go home, have conversations with our family, friends, peers, these are the moments that make up the bigger moment that we're gonna get to eventually, where other humans see us as human beings. And in order for that big moment to happen, we gotta continue doing our work. And yes, happy Pride. Let's celebrate how far we got in, the great shoulders that we stand on. And I hope to see y'all at another event and in the future. Have a good day, everyone."